Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Hammer Drops. I am, of course, your host, Layak. So today, we're going to talk about Joe Biden accepting the debate from Trump. So there's two debates that are going to be happening. One in June, and I believe one in September. Both debates will not include Robert F. Kennedy Jr., which I think is kind of horseshit. I mean, I'm not a big fan of his, but I mean, he is a candidate, so he should technically be in this debate. But the fact of the matter is he's not. I think all he's going to really do is take votes away from Biden, which is I'm fine with at this point. Because let's just face it, Biden he's destroying America at its core. And that's just that. So, but today we're going to talk about this because what's funny is, and it's no surprise because Biden wants stipulations for these debates, which shouldn't come to a surprise to anybody because, you know, when you hear the stipulations, it'll make sense. I mean, hell, he's got his number one, his political opponent tied up in so many different court cases because of his weaponized DOJ and his judicial system that's been weaponized to go after him. He's got Trump in court like 4 days a week, 5 days a week or whatever. And the guy is still beating him in the polls. This has got to have the Democrats like really worried, to be honest with you. And the one nice thing that I've seen with all of this stuff that's going on with Trump now with this whole Stormy Daniels, which we know is completely and utterly just bullshit. There's no real crime that Trump made. They can't prove anything. I mean, hell, their star witness is Michael Cohen, who we all know is a lying, manipulative sack of shit. I mean, literally. So, and that's their star witness. So far, the things I've heard about that case, before we get into the show, the things I've heard in that case is basically they're boring. It's like their strategy is to bore the jury into submission, and it may actually work because from reports from out of the courtroom is it's just miserable in there, just very, I mean, people are just really miserable and probably want to get the hell out of there, and who can blame them? Who would really want to be there? So as more of that comes, once that case is finally done, we'll get into that a little bit more. But so let's jump right in here to the good old, Joe Biden and his stipulations or his restrictions. The Biden team has demanded that for their Trump debate. Now, according to Fox News, so Joe Biden doesn't want an audience. Okay. Which is really weird. Like, why wouldn't you want an audience there? So this is straight from Fox News. So President Biden and former President Donald Trump on Wednesday made their plans to officially debate, but the offer from Biden team came with several strings attached. Trump gave Biden an open invitation to debate anytime, anywhere, and Biden rose to the challenge, go figure, with stipulations, telling Trump to make my day in a heavily edited on social media video. Literally, this video is 14 seconds long. It's very heavily edited, you can tell. And I believe from what I've seen and heard, it took him like 10 plus takes to do a 14-second video. I mean, I've been talking to you now longer than that, and this is my first take. So if that says anything, I mean, let's call a spade here. So alongside Biden's announcement came a letter from his campaign to the Commission on Presidential Debates, and their letter revealed a few critical limits that Biden's team was placing on any debate between him and Trump. So here's the list of them. So no audience. Biden's campaign heavily criticized CPD for making debates huge spectacles with large audiences in its letter to the organization. First and foremost, I mean, I don't know. If you're having a debate, wouldn't you want the people that you represent to be in attendance to hear what you're saying. I mean, by doing something like this, it's like Biden is literally trying to hide. Literally. It's like he's 2020 all over again, and he's campaigning. He wants to campaign with nobody and see nobody. But hey, I guess that's how the Democrats want to try to win an election, I guess. So the new debates between Trump and Biden must take place in a television studio with just the candidates and the moderator present. So I guess this is going to be for both of them. The debate should be conducted for the benefit of the American voters watching on television and at home, not as an entertainment for in-person audience with so they don't want people disruptive donors and people being there. But I mean, in all honesty, it's like they don't want the American people to. You can totally tell that they don't want the American people there. It's very weird how the Biden administration wants this. So no RFK Jr. or any third-party candidate. And this is all from the Biden camp, folks, not Trump, Biden. So Biden's campaign says the debate must be 1 versus 1 with no third-party candidates allowed. This is a critical demand because it excludes Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a long-shot independent candidate who has nevertheless made his presence known in polls. Not only that, but Kennedy has been shown to be more effective at leeching Democratic voters than Republican ones, making him an outsized threat to Biden. Go figure. I said this before. RFK is going to be a threat to Biden because he's going to take votes for him, and I'm fine with that. Let him take all the votes from Biden that he wants. Okay, so Biden gives 3. Okay. The debate should be one-on-one, allowing voters to compare the only 2 candidates with statistical chance of prevailing in the Electoral College, and not squandering debate time on candidates with no prospects of becoming president, Biden's team wrote. Kennedy condemned the requirement in a post on X, accusing both Trump and Biden of colluding to block him from the debate stage. Now, this is what Kennedy had to say. Presidents Trump and Biden are colluding to lock America into a head-to-head matchup that 70% of the Americans do not want. They're trying to exclude me from the debate, which they are afraid I will win. Keeping viable candidates off the debate stage undermines democracy. And you kind of have to agree with them. I mean, there's no reason why he should not be on the debate stage at all. I mean, let's face it. What do both of these candidates? I mean, Trump, I'm sure this has nothing. I mean, obviously, this is all Biden's administration and what they want. It'd be interesting to see what Trump would have to say about this. Limited news outlets, of course. Biden's demand limit the number of major news outlets that can host a 2024 presidential debate. It should be hosted by any broadcast organization that hosted a Republican primary debate in 2016 in which Donald Trump participated, and a Democratic primary debate in 2020 in which President Biden participated. So neither campaign can assert that the sponsoring organization is obviously unacceptable. If both candidates had previously debated on the airwaves, then neither could object to such venue, the campaign wrote. Candidates' mics must be mute after time expires. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Let me back up here real quick. The rules set limits to the networks that can host a debate to CNN, ABC, CBS, and Telemundo. All heavily lefty channels, mind you. Go figure. So now let's get into the mics must mute after time expires. So Biden's campaign blasted CPD for allowing extensive crosstalk and interruptions during the 2020 debates between Trump and Biden. Now, I kind of agree with this, but I really don't. It just shows that, it'd be interesting if they do it for both candidates, then okay. But if it seems like they're just going to be targeting Trump on this one because Biden's going to have free reign to do whatever his goofy ass wants to do. They now demand that both candidates' microphones be muted once their allotted speaking time expires. There should be firm time limits for answers and alternate turns to speak, so that the time is evenly divided and we have an exchange of views, not a spectacle of mutual interruptions. A candidate's microphone should only be active when it is his turn to speak. to promote adherence to the rules and orderly proceedings, the campaign wrote. Of course. The letter to CPD criticized the organization for being unable to unwilling to enforce the rules in the 2020 debates. The result was far from, indeed, entirely inconsistent with the orderly and informative process the voters deserved in 2020 and should be able to expect in 2024, the letter continued. Which, I find kind of weird because, no, I'm not even going to get into that. That's going to take me off the, kind of off topic here. Okay. Trump has accepted Biden's debate offer despite the restrictions. However, the first encounter scheduled for June 27 to be hosted by CNN. I guess that makes sense because they don't want an audience, and CNN really doesn't have an audience. And the only reason why CNN's going to have an audience that day won't be for Trump. I mean, not Trump. It won't be for Biden, but it will be for Trump because people want to see Trump just annihilate Biden and, in the debate. I mean, really, what is he going to do? So those are the stipulations. Okay. Now, I don't agree with all of them. I really don't. Like, you should maybe go to a news network, maybe that's not leaning right heavily or leaning left heavily, a neutral one. That would be much better. Allow Robert F. Kennedy in there. I think that's only fair. He is a presidential candidate. And Biden should really allow audiences. That's just my take on that. Now, for the fun part. So the video that I was talking about, I'm going to play it for you because this is by far, if this 14-second clip really had that many edits and took them as many takes as they say to do 14 seconds, it's just kind of unheard of. So I'm going to play that video here for you real quick.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays. Donald Trump.
So he wants to take a jab at Donald Trump because he's free on Wednesdays from court. The court cases that his weaponized judicial system and DOJ, to keep him off the campaign trail so the Democrats can continue being out there and making money for, you see where it's going here? I mean, but that 14-second clip literally heavily edited, and it took multiple takes to do. I just don't understand it. But hey, I'm just an average guy, I guess. Maybe I'm not supposed to understand that stuff. Now, and other stuff that's happening around good old America, right? So Ohio purges non-citizens from state voter rolls, calls on Biden admin for data ahead of the 2024 elections. This, I think every state should do. Non-citizens, like I discussed in my last episode, do not have a right to vote in our elections at all. And you can be pissed at me for saying that. You can say whatever the hell you want. If the shoe was on the other foot and it was the Republicans doing it, you'd be pissed off at the Republicans for allowing it to happen. So blow me. All right. So now this is also from Fox, and I'll provide all the articles and stuff like that in the description so you can go check them out yourself. So Ohio's Secretary of State Frank LaRose, ordered the state's voter rolls to be purged of non-citizens Tuesday after a review found more than 100 Ohio residents who were registered to vote despite lacking U.S. citizenship. An investigation by Ohio's Public Integrity Division analyzed data from the state's Bureau of Motor Vehicles and found 137 people who appeared on voter rolls despite twice confirming that they were not U.S. citizens. Ohio law requires that in order for a person to be removed from voter rolls, they must have confirmed their lack of citizenship to the BMV on 2 separate occasions, and also have updated their voter registration or voted between the 2 occasions. Now, An investigation by Ohio's Public Integrity Division analyzed data from the state's Bureau of Motor Vehicles and found that 137 people who appeared in voter rolls despite twice. Okay, we already went through that one. My bad. These individuals will receive at least 2 written notices from the Secretary of State's office asking them to confirm their citizenship status or cancel their registration. Failure to respond to these notices will result in removal of the registrations from the voter rolls by the county boards of election, LaRoe's office told Fox Digital in a statement. Now, I think every state needs to do this, but you know damn well states like Illinois, California, New York, Michigan, Wisconsin, your heavily run Democratic states or cities or whatever will not do this because they need those illegal votes. That's how they're hoping that they're going to win this time. So it's important to recognize that some of these registrations may be the result of an honest mistake. LaRose said, these may be well-meaning people trying to pursue the American dream, and communication barriers sometimes result in registration forms being submitted in error. We need to help them get that cleared up before an accidental registration becomes an illegal vote that could result in a felony conviction or even deportation. That is correct, folks, because if you vote illegally and these non-citizens vote and they're voting illegally, that is straight grounds for deportation. But don't count on the Democrats to uphold this. If it was Republican, even independent, now they may be like, okay, time for you guys to go. You're committing a felony in the United States, and you can't do this. LaRoe's office says that there may be more non-citizens registered to vote than initially investigations uncovered. Much of the data provided by BMV requires cross-referencing with other databases. Some of them are federal. Okay, so to that effect, Ohio is calling on President Biden's administration to provide access to several sources of citizenship data. First is the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services SAVE database, which holds troves of citizenship data for individuals entering the U.S. You seriously think that the Biden administration is going to give that one up? I doubt it. The RU's office also seeks access to citizenship information from the Department of Homeland Security, Social Security Administration, as well as federal district court records disclosing individuals disqualified from jury services due to the lack of United States citizenship. Man, I'm telling you, every fucking state needs to do this. And definitely it'll purge out all of the illegal votes that shouldn't be happening. And wouldn't it be ironic if states like Illinois, who typically are mostly Republican, and the only reason why the Democrats win Illinois is because of select counties like Chicago, Cook County, the county down by Springfield. And that's pretty much where all the illegals go. I mean, let's be honest. If you take the illegals out of it, what chance do the Democrats honestly have? But they don't want you to know this. So yeah. With national liberal groups eyeing the 10 Secretary of State races on the ballot over the next 2 years, we need principled Republican leaders now more than ever, Lewis said when he was appointed to the RSSC role in March. So, I have to agree with this guy. I think what he's doing for Ohio is a great thing. I really think that other states should probably do the same, but we already know that's not going to happen. But now on to the fun part. So Joe Biden, there's reports out there that Joe Biden is very upset and pissed off about the polling numbers. And he's literally, if you watch the CNN interview with him, he's literally trying to deny that he's like losing in the polls. Well, Biden, this is from the New York Times. Trump is leading in 5 key states as young and non-white voters express discontent with Biden. You've heard that right. Where Biden supposedly won all, from 2020 with the young voters and, African-American voters, the Hispanic voters and all that stuff. he's now losing with them because these people are finally waking up to the bullshit that Biden's doing. So out of the key swing states, Wisconsin is the only one that supposedly Biden is winning by 2%. Okay. Pennsylvania, Trump is winning by 3%. Arizona, he's winning by 7%. Same with Michigan. Georgia, he's winning by 10%. And Nevada, he's winning by what? 12%? I mean, come on. And the funny thing about this whole thing is the fact Trump is winning in the polls right now, leading the polls in these key swing states, okay? And this whole time, Trump hasn't been on the campaign trail as much as Biden can. While Trump's in court, and then when he gets done with court on the weekends and all that stuff, that's when he does his rallies. He just had 100,000 plus over there in New Jersey, okay, this past weekend. What did Biden do? He was out on the beach, getting some sun for his pasty white skin. That's your president, folks. That's who's running the country. So, yeah. So this should be interesting. I'm looking forward to the debate coming up. I'm looking forward to seeing just if CNN's going to be fair or if they're going to have questions already written up by the Biden administration, because we all know that Joe Biden is a babbling buffoon, so, and don't count on every question being the same. Count on Trump getting a lot harder questions than Biden when it comes to the debates. Yeah. And then it's going to be interesting to see in the polls as they keep going just how much Trump is leading in other states and so on and so forth, because right there, those 5 key swing states right there, if Trump wins those states, he's already on the path of having everything that he wants or needs, to win the presidential nominee in 2024. Now, if you hop on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and you see all the propagandist people out there for the left that are being paid by the left, they're going to try to convince you otherwise, that Biden's not losing, Trump's losing, and all that. They're doing this and they're revving that up to drown out all this other stuff because they don't want you to believe that Biden's losing. But mark my words, with these poor numbers, by the time the DNC committee or whatever, their little party thing that they're having in Chicago happens, Biden will probably drop out by then, because his bad numbers like we see here is no way he's winning. No way at all. So they're going to have to get somebody in there that's going to be able to push Trump. And the only 2 candidates that are going to probably even be remotely able to push Trump is Gavin Newsom, which we've seen what he did to California. Look at California. It's like communist, and then Big Mike might be, that's the person I'm thinking is going to be in there. It's going to be Obama's 4th term if it wins. I'm not even going to call it a her or a he. It's an it. I'm sorry, because we all know that it's a dude. He's probably got a bigger dick than Obama does. So that's just, neither here nor there. But hey, in local news here in Illinois, McHenry Lake County, I've been seeing a lot of news going on about police stations, and their license plate readers that are going out. It seems like a lot of cities are starting to implement this because of the rising crime, so to speak. I'd like to think of it as it's a way for them to keep an eye on law-abiding citizens more than criminals, because if they actually gave a damn, okay, folks, if they actually gave a fuck, they would not let these criminals out. The funny thing is, Lake in the Hills Police Department, they are now building a $28 million new police station. $28 million, you heard that right. And now, go figure, they're getting these license plate readers there as well. So I sense something a little funny about that. You $28 million towards the police station, and now you want these new cameras, or you're getting these new cameras. I bet you those cameras have a lot of copper in them. Just going to say that. So that's where I'm going to leave it, folks. I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget, if you know somebody, a liberal, that this might offend, please share with them. If you have any questions, comments, whatever, feel free to email me at layak@thehammerdrops.com. Until the next time, folks, you be good to one another, all right? Oh, yeah. Fuck Joe Biden. That's all I got to say. I'm out.